go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Ronald Gordon with Texas in Color. And today we have the judge, Judge Williams. Welcome to Texas in Color, and how are you doing today?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. And what day couldn't be better if you're not appearing on Texas in Colors?
Oh, wow. I like that. Well, thank you for joining us today. Um, Judge Staci Williams, you're running for office of Court Administrator in the 5th District Court of Appeal. Can you tell our listeners about the 5th Court of Appeal and why you decide to run for it?
Okay, well, the Fifth District Court of Appeals is one of 14 Court of Appeals. Well, you know what? I'm going to start back because a lot of people don't understand the Texas court structure. In Texas, we have lots of different levels. We have the municipal courts and the county courts, the district court, which is our highest trial court level, where you have trials, and then it's the Court of Appeals. At the Court of Appeals, we don't you don't have another trial. It's thoroughly where the justices will look at the record to determine whether or not legal error occurred. So in the state of Texas, there are 14 courts of appeals. Dallas County, which is where I sit as a trial court judge, is part of the 5th District. The 5th District consists of Collin, Dallas, Grayson, Hunt, Kaufman, and Rockwall counties. I'm running for the position of Chief Justice of the 5th District Court of Appeals. There are 14 such Chief Justices across the state of Texas. There's not one African American Chief Justice in this state. Now, I'm not running because I'm African American. I'm running because I'm qualified. I'm bringing over 10 years of state district court experience. Again, that's the level below the 5th District Court of Appeals, but it's the highest trial court. I conduct lots of trials. In trials, we take the testimony of witnesses. We rule on the admissibility of exhibits. Then we reduce it down to a judgment. I just lost my train of thought. Wait, reduce down to a side of judgment. As a trial court judge, I've observed the Court of Appeals work, and they not only need diversity in opinion, they need diversity in experience. Bringing my 10 years of state district court judge experience is going to be reflective not only in the decisions, but also in some of the policies and procedures that they currently have. As Chief Justice, I'm more of the CEO of the Court of Appeals, making sure that the justices timely issue their decisions, making sure that the office is running smoothly so that we are an effective organization, not only for the public, but for all of the stakeholders.
Oh, wow. So you're covering, so I like the way you transition into the next question. You already answered that already. But
Sorry.
that is a lot going on. But also the 5th Court of Appeal, it has the highest backlog criminal cases in Texas over the past 24 months as of the end of 2023 fiscal year. Why is that?
Well, I think it's a lack of processes. Now, in the district courts, when there's a criminal case takes priority over a civil case. And the reason why we have this priority is because you're dealing with someone's life and liberty. When it's an appeal, someone might have already been put in jail or sentenced to jail, and maybe they have a valid appeal. I believe those cases, like in the district court, when they get to the Court of Appeals, they should be put on a priority processing. Right now, they're not. And so it shows maybe a lack of processes and just maybe a lack of understanding. We do have some justices on the Court of Appeals who unfortunately do not have the experience of being a district court judge. And so I think when you don't have that experience, you tend to treat civil and criminal cases about the same. And I'm not denigrating civil cases because I'm a civil judge and that's all I hear. But in civil cases, it's primarily an issue of money. Who was awarded money damages? And someone will always appeal either saying no money damages should have been given or that level is too high. But when you're talking about criminal cases, the criminal cases deserve priority. And when I become the next Chief Justice of the Fifth District Court of Appeals, number one, the first thing I'm going to do is take an inventory of all the pending criminal cases. Then I'm going to find out which justices have been assigned those cases, and I'm going to put them in judicial timeout until they get those decisions issued. And now, once we get all caught up, we're going to have a fast track for those criminal cases so that we're being responsive to the parties. I mean, the parties need to know, hey, is my uncle going to be in jail for the next 20 years? But also the prosecutors need to know, am I going to have to try this case, or should we just dismiss the charges and move on? But when you have delay, justice delayed is justice denied.
Now, you said criminal and civil.
Yes.
The burden of proof weighs more in which one, civil or
In
criminal?
criminal cases. So in criminal cases, the burden of proof, which everyone knows, is beyond a reasonable doubt. You've got to be beyond sure that this person committed the crime. When I do seminars, and we can talk about that later, I have a picture of someone who's been knocked out in a boxing match. The person's out. He's cold. It's over. It's a TKO. There is no absolute doubt. But in a civil case, it's called preponderance of the evidence. It's more likely true than not. It's usually like we show the scales of justice, and it's like 51%, ever so slight. So the burden of proofs are totally different.
Okay, I just had to ask that question because I don't know what it just occurred to me to ask that question.
And if
Did
you want, when I talk to my jurors, I always tell them in criminal cases, you're deciding first guilt, whether or not that person is guilty. Next, then they are deciding whether someone gets a fine and or a jail sentence. In civil cases, you're determining liability, which means fault, and then whether or not someone's going to get money damages. For example, in a car accident case, if someone is determined to be liable, then there are a range of damages that can be given to that litigant, such as damages for like out of pocket medical expenses, future medical expenses, pain and suffering, um, future pain and suffering, and then the actual damages that they occurred.
Wow. Okay. Now, did you always want to be a judge? And tell us about your journey in becoming a lawyer and what made you decide to become the judicial career. What
Okay.
who egged you on? It had to been somebody out there that said, "Hey, you could do this."
No, no, actually, there really wasn't. So I grew up in the, I don't want to say when I was, but I grew up, my dad was a dentist, and most of the friends of my uncles were all physicians. So I thought that was all I could be because that's all I saw. I really thought Black people were just dentists and physicians. So I started out in high school. I did the candy stripers. I knew I was going to med school. There were some summer programs exploring the medical field. I knew I wanted it. Got to college. Biology was a challenge. Chemistry, I was about to flunk. I mean, it was bad. I'd never failed up until this point. So I went to the head of the chemistry department and I said, "Look, my parents back in Texas, they are not going to accept this failing grade. Can I make a deal with you? If I promise never, ever, ever to step foot in the chemistry department, will you give me a C?" And the chemistry chair burst out laughing. He goes, "Maybe I've just been dealing with scientists, but I never had anyone negotiate with me a grade." And he goes, "Are you really sincere about this?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I can't go back to Texas. It's obvious to me that medicine is not going to be my field of choice." And so we made the deal. He gave me a C. I went to the government department and started making A's.
See, you are already being a judge by negotiating with that point right there. Now, who will go negotiate a grade? Think about
Chemistry
that.
department.
And that's a good one. I like that. I like that. So,
So
what's your?
okay, well, there's still more to the
Oh,
story.
go for
So,
it.
so I went to law school. I had no intention of being a judge, never, ever, ever. I mean, I loved being in court, and I kind of liked the financial reports. I really liked it. But at one point, I started going to lots of receptions, just political receptions, and all these judges kept coming up to me. Are you running against me? I'm kind of going, no. And then I said, wait a second. Why are all these judges coming up to me? What do they see in me that I don't see?
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing research. I love to research. So I had 5-inch notebooks of all the judicial officers that were up for reelection. And I kept coming back to this one court. I kept coming back. And I said, what do you have to lose? Now, it ends up this person was the darling of the Dallas Bar Association. I mean, everyone thought he was great. I didn't think so. And so I had less than $35,000. He had $1 million. This was back in 2014. He had $1 million for a judicial race. Every club, Democratic club, endorsed him. Some of even our top Black political leaders cut radio ads against me, sent flyers out against me. But you know what? We worked hard. We had a message, and we took 62% of the vote.
Wow. It's like, I'm just saying that I'm gonna go back. You say all you had was $35,000 on you.
Yes. Yes.
So that's proven right now you don't have to have the big bucks to win.
No, that's just smoke and mirrors. You don't have to have it. You just have to get back to the basics. I mean, I have to tell you, I was out everywhere. I was a size 8. By the end of that election, I was a 0. I mean, we were out walking. It was at People to People. And I tell people all the time, you don't need money. You just need to get out there. But a lot of people don't want to work. They don't want to work at it. They don't want to have to be out. I mean, like Saturday night, I was at 4 events. I was at an event last night. Now that it's wrapping up, I have events almost every night. And I see some folks, they're not out there. But I don't want to wake up on November 6th and say, what if?
Yes. No, why is that? You just said something right there. A lot of people have that money and they're not doing too many political ads because they want that money. And they sit there, they don't get out and talk to the people, show your face, see what's going on. Are we going back that how we used to do it back in the days where you went out, you shook hands, you knocked on doors, and they're the grassroots. And I think everybody had on the show is saying the same thing. They're going out knocking on doors, talking to people, and everything. Is that more effective now than running ads?
Well, I don't know. I consider myself an old school politician because when you don't have money, the only choice you have to do is to go out and meet people. I think part of it is probably laziness. Some people think because they have a like D behind their name, oh, I'm going to be taken care of. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that might work. But you know what? The electorate has changed, and I've noticed a change over the last 10 years. People are not going to necessarily just vote one straight party. They really want to know about the candidates. They really want to know about the individuals. So one day there's going to be an election and people might be shocked because I just know the people are more informed now and I'm not going to take that chance.
You know, you said that people are more informed, and the way things are today, the climate is so divisive, and some people mind you can't change no matter what.
Right.
That's a gimme right there because I see it all the time. But if you could just touch that one person and change that one person's mind and say, I didn't know this was going on all these years. I just voted for that person because name recognition.
Right.
And now you tell me exactly what the office does. I didn't know that. And it's a
Right.
need to know. And sometimes they don't want them people to know it. But
Oh, well, that's absolutely true. I mean, during the primary, I had a bruising primary opponent because this position was open and there was a person who was already in the Court of Appeals. And look, like I said earlier, I researched. So I pulled up the statistics from the Office of Court Administration, which is the official entity that gathers statistics about Texas courts. Well, that's what we pulled up. They had the worst record in the state for handling criminal appeals. And the most glaring thing is they have 14 justices, more justices than any other court of appeals in the state of Texas. Then we pulled up the individual statistics about each individual justice. And people were like, oh my God, we didn't know this happened. And for example,
Wow.
I looked at the statistics for clerks. Now, the clerks have to help the justices write their opinions, or sometimes called law clerks, staff attorneys. So these are the people who actually help the justices write decisions.
So with you
We
being
had,
elect,
hold up, I'm pausing for
that's
theatrical,
okay.
for theatr. They have 31 staff attorneys. Not one is black.
Mm.
Guys, that is, and I think they have two Hispanics. That's it. That is not reflective of our population. How can you write decisions that are going to affect this entire six-county region? And we don't, it's not only diversity in race, they don't have diversity in geographic location. I want someone who's a staff attorney who comes from Kaufman County or Hunt County or represents those views, because coming from an urban county, I'm going to look at things through a different lens. But if you're going to have a good decision, you've got to have various different lights going through that lens.
So why is that we just have two Hispanics, no blacks? Is there a reason or
I don't think not in 2024.
oh man.
And so now people are asking those justices who are incumbents, what's up with the hiring?
Since you said that, what will be the change for you when you are elected in that office? What would be some of the changes that you will make?
Well, first of all, like I mentioned with the criminal cases, I'm going to do a report on all our pending cases, how long they've been pending, find out which justices where we have who've been sitting on certain decisions, particularly criminal decisions, and put them on a timeline. Like I said, time out. You've got to get these decisions and you've got to get it done. Timeliness has been an issue in the Fifth District Court of Appeals. So waiting a year to get a decision is crazy. Um, You've got more staff. We're going to have new timelines regarding the hiring. The hiring is only as good as the pool that you're selecting from. So if you are only selecting from SNU, that's all you're going to get. We've got TSU, or we've got schools like my school, Georgetown University Law Center in Washington, D.C., who we used to call the Black Law School. We had more African Americans at Georgetown than Howard University, but you've got to increase that pool. And those people are out there. But if you don't outreach or you don't make it known that these positions are available, then you're going to get the same result.
So it's safe to say they're pulling from their own pool, which is their
Yeah.
kind, basically. And they're
Yes.
bypassing all these other schools out there. We want this pool right here, and that's what we're going to do.
Right. And see, another thing that is very interesting, one of my background that I didn't mention, um, I've been certified as a senior professional in human resources. Those of you out there who know about human resources, it's a very difficult exam. And so they teach you about hiring practices. They teach you about expanding the pool. So I've got that background that no one else on the Court of Appeals has. My opponent doesn't have that certification. And it's really going to help in making that organization efficiently run and ensuring that our staff, our clerks reflect the diversity in all areas of the six counties that we have.
So I'm gonna go back a little bit because of the backlog. Is are they understaffed? Could that be part of the problem?
No, not at all. They have more justices than any other Court of Appeals. There are 14 Court of Appeals. They have more staff attorneys than any other Court of Appeals. From what I've been able to see, and let me tell you, they're pretty upset with me for raising these issues, there's no structure. One of the justices said to me at an event on Saturday, oh, well, as long as I get things done in a year, it's okay. And I'm thinking, my God, people should not have to wait a year for anything. I mean, there's something that happens from the trial court. Usually, if someone's very upset about your ruling regarding discovery, they can take what's called an interlocutory appeal to the Court of Appeals, or they can do a mandamus petition. Mandamus is like the house is on fire. You've got to stop this crazy judge at the trial court level. Well, to me, that means you need an instantaneous decision or within a reasonable amount of time. Why are attorneys having to wait 9 months to get a result from a mandamus petition? I had a recent case where someone was upset that I had denied a continuance um, from from an August trial docket. The Court of Appeals still hasn't ruled on it.
Wow.
That to me, that's totally unacceptable.
Yes, it is. It is. Which brings me to this question: why should voters choose you?
Well, voters should choose me because of my experience. Um, First of all, I'm a three-term district court judge, civil district court judge, where I conduct trials and hearings. My opponent has never run for a district court judge position. He is right now, he was appointed by Governor Abbott. He's only been in that position 1.5 years. There's no way he can get up to the Court of Appeals and become the chief and enact the necessary changes that need to be enacted. But besides being a three-term district court judge, I bring a wealth of experience. I've been an arbitrator for DART, the U.S. Postal Service, NASDAQ FINRA, Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service. I've been a trial attorney for the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. I've been an administrative judge for the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, where I adjudicated disputes between federal employees and their agencies. I was also, before then, a trial attorney for the EEOC. I've been in-house corporate counsel for the telecommunications, retail, and defense industries. And on top of that, I've been counsel to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee in Washington, D.C. And I mention that because one of the responsibilities of being the Chief Justice is going down to Austin to testify before committees, to lobby the legislators, for example, for salary or needed resources. And if you don't have that wealth of a background, you cannot effectively do that job. What will happen, you'll get someone who'll just let the status quo remain because they don't have the experience to even know to identify that they're problem issues. And you've got someone who's committed and educated. I'm a graduate of the Georgetown University Law Center in Washington, D.C. I graduated from Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts, with a degree in economics, and I did special studies in economics at Yale University. So I think back, based on my background, experience-wise, based on my educational background and my commitment, I am the best candidate.
Yeah, boy, I'm hearing that. We're glad that you're running. We are really glad. So I just want to say thank you for today for coming on the show. We love to have you back after you win because remember, everybody vote for Judge Staci Williams. She would definitely. Oh man, this has been a treat to have you on. You have educated me on some things that I did not know that I could brag about that I know it now.
Oh,
So
that's great. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure. Oh, and can I give my website?
you should, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, give your information.
Okay, so it's www.judgestacy.com, and that's Stacy with an I. My Facebook is Judge Stacy. My Instagram is Judge Stacy Williams. My okay, going back to my website, guys, I need your help. I know you all are all over the state of Texas, but if you have friends in Collin, Dallas, Grayson, Hunt, Kaufman, or Rockwall counties, I would appreciate it. Now, Collin County includes Plano, Frisco, you know, those areas. Grayson has Sherman, where Austin College is. I just need the support, and we can really make a difference. I'm not trying to get in this position so I can be called justice. I really think that I have the background experience to make this a better court, which makes this a better place for you to live and makes this state a better state.
Thank you. I appreciate that, everybody. You remember that. And don't forget, you need to register to vote. Early voting starts October 21st. So we need everything out there. The last day to register the vote, I think, is October 7th, if I'm right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we got to make sure we get everything going and make sure we vote for Staci Williams. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Recording stopped.
All right, everybody. That was Staci Williams right there, and we really did appreciate her being on. Man, that wealth of knowledge right there. you can't beat that knowledge that was there. It was all right. All right, everybody. It's about that time. We're gonna get out of here and tune in Friday. We got another Texas in Color show with Veronica Brooks and George Green, the Republican George Green. So we'll be on for that show. So tune in at 11 o'clock Friday. This is Ronald Gordon with Texas in Color. See you next time.